Hi, my name is Karen Gaines, owner of Plenty of Cents LLC, and today I am going to talk about how to explain overhead to your funders and donors. So let's get started. So if you are an executive director of a nonprofit organization and have received funds from a large donor, a funder, a grant funder, typically overhead and indirect costs come up, okay? So first, let's define overhead and indirect expenses just to make sure we are all on the same page. So overhead consists of all of the expenses needed to run your nonprofit organization. So this is the salaries of your administrative staff, the executive director, your finance person or finance team, human resources, your IT person, all of the admin type expenses. It also includes rent expense, your office phones, bank fees, merchant fees. Generally, all of the fees, all of the costs, all of the expenses that you don't see. That is what overhead costs consist of. And you can think of your overhead cost as the internal workings of a car. So the internal workings of a car include your engine, your transmission, the cooling system, your fuel system, electrical system. Again, all of the systems that you do not see when you're just looking at a car from the outside. And we all know if the internal workings of a car is not working well, then the car is not going to run smoothly or it's not going to run at all. That is the same way that a nonprofit organization works. If the internal workings of your nonprofit organization is not working, if you do not have the overhead, if you don't have the finance person, the HR person, the IT person, the proper office equipment, office supplies, your nonprofit is not going to run like it should, or it might not run at all. Now, in contrast, if you have your overhead expenses, if you have the right staff, you have the admin staff, you have your rent, your phone, and etc., then your nonprofit is going to run smoothly. And when that happens, the outside of your nonprofit is going to look much better. Like, people are going to notice. It's going to look more legit. It's going to look more aesthetically pleasing. And this could be in the form of, services getting rendered on a regular basis, services getting rendered in a more quality type fashion. Okay. And, when your internal I'll call your internal workings of your nonprofit is working as it should, it's going to attract, just more funders, more opportunities, and it's just going to enhance your nonprofit organization. Okay, so again, if the internal system of your nonprofit organization is not working, it's not going to run like it should, just like a car. If you have a car and the cooling system is not working, or the transmission is leaking, or the engine's not working, the car is not going to run. It's gonna kind of chug along or not move at all. So when you're talking with grant funders or donors or anyone who wants to contribute to your nonprofit organization, you can and you're asking for money for funding for overhead expenses, you can explain to them or use the analogy of the car and a vehicle that I just talked about, and how a vehicle needs to be maintained internally in order for the outside to work. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Thanks, and bye-bye.